Welcome, guys. We're gonna start with numericals on circular motion today. So this is the first session. We will have some easy, some mid-level difficulty problems. In next session, our problems will get bit harder. We will have special session for MCQs and PYQs. So let's start with problem directly. So I hope you have your numerical sheet with you. With you. So I don't have to write numerical on the board. I will just write the information and solve the example. So what is first example? If angular position if if angular position of a particle in circular motion is a function of time and that function is theta is equal to 4t square plus 6. A, find average angular velocity up to 3 seconds, and B, angular velocity at 3 seconds, and C, angular acceleration at 3 seconds. So what is given? Theta, which is function of time, which is equal to 4t square plus 6, and I have to find omega average until 3 seconds, omega at 3 seconds, and alpha at 3 seconds. So until 3 seconds, that means from 0 to 3 seconds. Where there is passage of time, the quantity will be average quantity, because we can calculate that quantity from one point to another point. B and C is omega and alpha at 3 seconds. That means at the instant. That means we have to calculate instantaneous values of these two things. So let's start with omega average. It is nothing but total angular displacement upon total time. That means omega f minus omega I upon tf minus ti. So what is, excuse me, this is theta f minus theta final minus theta I upon tf minus ti. So what is my theta final? Put t is equal to 3 seconds in the equation. 4 into 3 square plus 6, and theta I will be, put t is equal to 0 second, 4 into 0 square plus 6. What will be the values of theta f and theta I? 42 radians and 6 radians. So let's put value of theta f, theta I, t FTI in our equation. So omega average will be 42 minus 6 upon 3 minus 0. What will be the value of this? 12 radians per second. Second thing is omega at 3 seconds. So what is the formula for instantaneous angular velocity? It is nothing but rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time. That means time derivative of theta. And I already have function of theta in t, so I can derive that function 4t square plus 6 with respect to t. What will I get? What is derivative of 4t square? What is derivative of t square? 2t. So it will be 4 into 2t and derivative of 6 will be 0 because it is a constant. So my omega will be at 3 seconds. My expression of instantaneous angular acceleration will be 8t and omega at t is equal to 3 seconds. Put 3 in this equation, I will get 24 radian per second. Do not forget to write units. Now I have to find angular acceleration. So instantaneous angular acceleration is nothing but time derivative of angular velocity or double time derivative of theta with respect to t. Double derivative of theta with respect to t. So let's take time derivative of omega, which is 8t. Now what will be time derivative of 8t? It will be 8. So alpha will be uniform, which is 8 radian per second square. See, I have already told you if our function of theta in terms of t is quadratic function, then it will be uniform angular accelerated motion. That means my circular motion will have uniform angular acceleration, and I have proved it here. See, this function is quadratic function. So alpha is 8. That means it is not dependent on time. So if you are given any function of theta in terms of t, you just first time derivative will be your instantaneous angular acceleration, angular velocity, and second time derivative will be your instantaneous angular acceleration. Similarly, if you are given equation of alpha, you can integrate it and find it omega, and you can integrate equation function of omega and find the equation of theta, because process of integration is exactly opposite to the process of differentiation. numerical 2. What is numerical? What is numerical saying? A particle moves in a circle of radius 4 meter. Particle moves in a particle moves in a circle of radius 4 meter at a speed given by v is equal to 80, where v is in meter per second. That means v is speed, and what numerical is asking to find at, that means tangential acceleration at t is equal to 2 seconds. Find centripetal acceleration at t is equal to 2 seconds. Find net acceleration at t is equal to 2 seconds, and find angular acceleration at t is equal to 2 seconds. So given things are r is equal to 4 meter, and I have given function of tangential speed which is 8t. It is in meter per second, and I have asked to find at t is equal to 2 seconds value of at, acp, a net, and alpha. So first of all, what is equation? What is equation of at in terms of v? Tangential acceleration is nothing but time derivative of speed, or time derivative of magnitude of tangential velocity. I have v, so I can put that function here, d by dt of 8t. So my at will be 8 meter per second square. So be ACP. ACP is formula v square upon r, or r omega square. We will use this formula. For ACP at t is equal to 2 seconds, we will need v at t is equal to 2 seconds, which will be 8 into 2, which would be 16 meter per second. So my ACP will be 16 square upon 4. And it will be 16 excuse me 80 okay. What is square of 16? I think it's 256, right? 4. What is the square of 16? बराबर है ना? 256. Let's divide. It will be 64 meter per second square. So what will be the value of net acceleration? Square root of ACP square plus AT square. I am directly writing the formulas because these are really easy examples. We are just putting the values in equations, and we have studied these equations very thoroughly, so I don't need to explain why this A net is equal to this. I think we are now at such point that if I have to explain this, then we won't be able to finish circular motion until 1 or 2 months. So you should know why A net is equal to square root of ACP square plus AT square. Let's put that in here. It will be 8 square plus 64 square, and you can find the answer, whatever it may be, it will be in meter per second square. Now, what about angular acceleration? Do we have any relation between any equation which relate angular acceleration and any other acceleration or velocity? I have an equation which relates angular acceleration and tangential acceleration, which is AT is equal to R alpha. So alpha is equal to AT upon R. So 8 upon 4 will be equal to 2 radian per second square. See, this was also very easy. Let's go to the third numerical. Now this numerical will make you think a little bit. Still it is very easy. And I think this is also PYQ. I don't remember from which exam, but I think this is PYQ. So what is numerical saying? Two particles A and B start at the origin O and travel in opposite direction along a circular path of radius 5 centimeter. Constant speed of particle A and B is VA equal to 0.7 meter per second and VB is equal to 1.5 meter per second respectively. Determine the time when the particles will collide. So if this is my XY axis and this is my origin, the given information is two particles A and B are starting from origin and they are traveling in opposite direction, but they are traveling along a same circular path of radius r. So if particle A start its journey at t is equal to 0 second in this direction, particle B will start its journey along opposite direction of VA. That means particle A is going in anti-clockwise motion, in anti-clockwise direction along the circle, and particle B is going in clockwise direction, in clockwise direction along the circle. I have also given the speed of VA, which is 0.7 meter per second, and speed of VB is 1.5 meter per second. Radius is r is equal to 5 centimeter. That means 0.05 meter. Never forget to convert your units into SI system. SI system. So when both points are starting their journey from same point at the same time and they are traveling along opposite directions, there will be a point when they collide. There will be a point when they collide. As they traveling with same speed, as they are traveling with same speed, after some point, they will collide at a point. Now, for a second, let's take example of two vehicles. Vehicle A is going in same direction as vehicle B, and speed of vehicle A is 80 meter per second and speed of vehicle B is 100 meter per second. That means vehicle which is behind A but has greater speed will be able to catch vehicle A, because in 1 second vehicle A will travel 80 meters, but in same 1 second vehicle B will travel 100 meters. So in 1 second vehicle will be ahead of vehicle B, vehicle B will be ahead of vehicle A, and in between 0 and 1 second there will be a point where they are along they will meet each other or they will pass each other. Similarly, if there is a vehicle A which is traveling towards positive x-axis with 60 meter per second, and vehicle B which is traveling with 100 meter per second towards vehicle A, that means towards negative x-axis, and distance between them is 160 meters. So after 1 second, if vehicle A is starting from this point, after 1 second, it will go 60 meters, and after 1 second, vehicle B will go 100 meters, and they will collide with each other at this position, because 60 plus 100 is 160, and in 1 second, because of their velocity is different and they are traveling towards each other, displacement covered by this vehicle in same time and displacement covered by this vehicle in the same time, if you add that, they will the distance between point of collision, they will and their distance between them. So what I am saying, displacement covered by this vehicle in 1 second, which is 60 meter, displacement covered by this vehicle in 1 second, which is 100 meter. If you add that, it comes to 160 meter. And if we the initial distance between them also is 160 meter, then after 1 second, the both vehicles will collide. Both vehicles will collide. Or let think this example in another way. I am saying that the speeds are same, direction are the same, and I am saying these vehicles are colliding after 2 seconds. These vehicles are colliding after 2 seconds. So what will be initial distance between them? That means we have to find this x. So let's assume this is where they collide. This is where they collide. In 2 seconds, vehicle A will travel 60 plus 60, that means 120 meters. So this distance will be 120 meters. And vehicle B, in 2 seconds, it will travel 100 plus 100, that means 200 meters. 200 meters. And if this is point of collision, then their initial distance will be 120 plus 200, that means 320 meters. Now I can do this in reverse fashion. That means I know that this path is of length 120 meters, and I am asking you to find after how many seconds these two vehicles will collide. These two vehicles to collide, if this vehicle is coming in this direction and this is point of collision, that means it has traveled from this thing to this thing. Let's take this displacement as x, and for if this is point of collision, that means this B vehicle has traveled from this distance, that let's take it y. That means x plus y is equal to 120 meters. X is displacement made by vehicle A, which will be 60t What will be the displacement made by this vehicle? It will be 100 t is equal to 120 meters, because velocity is equal to ds by t, and thus s will be equal to vt. So if I take t common, I will get 160 t equal to 120. So my time will be 120 upon 160 second. Let's apply same application here. Let's apply same applications here. Let's assume this is vehicle A, this is vehicle B. If they collide at some point P, their distance of travel. So if particle B has traveled x meters and particle A has travels y meter, their addition must be the difference between point A and point B. So for us, if this is the path, then their distance is circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r. So how can we calculate path length of particle B, which is x, from point O to point B? We can calculate VB into T, and Y we will calculate as VA into T. Once again, just like vehicle, if they have to collide, and their velocity is different, their speed is different, then they will travel, their distance travel will be different. But if they have to collide, that means they will have to cover that distance, different distance in same time. That's why I have taken TT in both. So 2 pi r. So what is the velocity of point B? 1.5 into t plus 0.7 into t is equal to 2 pi into 0.05. From this, I get t equal to 0.1438 seconds. So you will have to do this using log table. When we were learning log table, we have studied, or we have calculated enough, we have done enough calculation with log table, that I know that you don't need my help here. So I am not going to waste my time doing this calculation. You can do it using log table, because rather than wasting my time on this calculation using log table, we can take more numericals, which will be more helpful for you, because calculation using log table is like a donkey work now, because I have taught you that thoroughly, you know that thoroughly, you can do calculation using logarithmic table very well. Now let's go to the next problem. Number 4. If particle A and B are moving on same circle in same direction with time period of 4 pi and 2 pi seconds respectively, find the angular velocity of point B, of point particle B with respect to point A. Find time in which B completes one or more revolution than A. So what is given? I have been given TA, which is equal to 4 pi second, TB is equal to 2 pi second. So I have been question asked is what is relative angular velocity between of B with respect to A, that means omega B A. Just like regular relative velocity, VBA was VB minus VA. This will be omega B minus omega A. So what are the equation? What are the formula for omega in terms of T? It is 2 pi by T. So 2 pi by T B minus 2 pi by TA. So 2 pi by 2 pi minus 2 pi by 4 pi. So this will be 1 by 2 or 0.5 radian per second. Radian per second. Second part of this numerical is find the time in which B completes one or more revolution, one or less, one more or one less revolution than A. See, what is relative velocity B with respect to A? What is relative velocity of relative velocity of B with respect to A? In basic terms, what we are doing, we are assuming that point A is particle A is at rest, and then what will be the angular velocity of B? What will be the angular velocity of B? So, if I have been asked to calculate, how in how much time will particle B complete one more or one less revolution than particle A. That means if I put my particle A at rest and at same time particle B starts the motion, how much revolution will it complete? How much revolutions will it complete? So that means I have been asked to calculate time period of this relative angular velocity. Relative angular velocity. For this, I missed to tell you what is given, one more given information. Particle A and particle B are moving in a same circle along same direction. So if they are moving along clockwise direction, what will be their direction using the right hand thumb rule? Inward. So both omega A and omega B will be pointing inwards along z axis. That's why we can take directly omega B minus omega A. If omega A was pointing away from blackboard along z axis, then I will have to use omega B minus of omega A, because its relative velocity direction is very important. So if particles are moving in same circle in same direction, then what will be their relative time period? T will be is equal to 2 pi upon omega AB, which will be BA, sorry, BA, then 2 pi upon omega B minus omega A, then 2 pi upon 2 pi by TB minus 2 pi by TA. If I simplify this, I will get T is equal to TA TB upon TA minus TB. And if I put my values of TA and TB here, I will get 4 pi seconds. As my relative velocity is positive, my relative velocity of B with respect to A is positive, that means obviously it is gonna make one more revolution, not one less, but that one more revolution will be completed in 4 pi seconds. 4 pi seconds. So if you are asked, if two particles are moving in same circle along same direction, or there are two concentric circles and particle A is in one circle and particle B is in another circle, and they are traveling along same direction, even then you can use this analysis to find relative angular velocity and relative time period. So this is plus. So if my question is, if particle A and B are moving on a different concurrent circles in same direction with time period 4 pi and 2 pi second, find the angular velocity of B with respect to A and blah blah, then I won't have to change a thing, because as they are concurrent, their z axis is same, and if they are both going in clockwise motion, they're both omega will be along same line inwards. So however, if I add one more circle, two more circles, I have more particles, they are going in same or different directions, it doesn't matter if they are concurrent. If they are concurrent, that means center of all this circle is same, so their z axis will be same, and if angular velocities are acting along same axis, same line, then I can use this relation. So if they are going anti-clockwise, if B is going clockwise, A is going anti-clockwise, I will, and I am asked to find omega B with respect to A, I will do omega B A equal to omega B minus omega A, because it is anti-parallel to omega B. So it will be omega B plus A, and you will have to omega B plus omega A, and this will give you relative angular velocity, and if you put this velocity here, you will get relative time period. If this comes negative, if this omega relative angular velocity comes negative, then if the question is find the time in which B completes one more or one less revolution than time A. If this value is negative, then it will complete one less revolution. One less revolution, other things will stay same. Other things will stay same. That means this answer will be negative, but time is never negative. That means what is happening? What is happening if my particle A is at rest and I am measuring motion of particle B? That is only relative motion. That means at the moment when I put my particle A at rest, particle B was one revolution behind particle A. So relative time period, so relatively particle B will be one revolution behind particle A, and time for that is this. Time period for that is this. So this question can be asked in various ways. But if you know basics of relative velocity, you will be able to solve this. However, the question is asked. So if you know the basics of relative velocity, you will able to solve. Only remember, this analysis can be applicable to particles moving in same circle, and also particles moving in circular motion in concurrent circle. So remember that don't get confused if in questions they have mentioned concurrent circles. You will use this analysis only because both circles z axis is same. So let's go to the next example. See, there are going to examples, numericals like this, where in one examples we are going to see various forms or various variations, many variations of same numerical. So when I am taking such types of numericals, I am gonna tell you what are those variations, and you should also write those variations down, so that in one numerical you will be able to solve. You are actually solving more than one variation of this equation, this numerical. So this numerical, this is one variation, this is second variation. Variation 3 will be this, but the direction is opposite. Variation 4 will be this, but direction is opposite. So there are 4 variations in this example. And one more variation is when one particle is completing one less revolution, and 6th variation is when particle is completing one more revolution. So in one example only, we studied six numericals. So many of our numericals will be in these types, where one numerical will, I will tell you many variations of same numericals, so you won't get confused if in exam the question is asked in some different way. Another variation in this numerical. What will happen if relative velocities of both particle, angular velocities of both particle are same? What will happen if angular velocities of both particle are same and they are traveling in the same direction? Either it is the same circle, or either it's in two concentric circles. What will happen if omega E is equal to omega B? Then omega relative, either it is with respect to B with respect to A, or A with respect to B, it's gonna be zero. It's gonna be zero. So T is equal to 2 pi by omega relative. That means relative time period will be zero. That means, if they are traveling at same angular velocity in same direction, their relative angular velocity will be zero, and however time is spent, they will maintain their relative positions with each other. They will maintain their positions relative to each other. That means their distance, their angular distance or their linear distance will never change. Their angular distance will never change. If this is the location, this is the position of these two points, they will move along the same way. What will be the example of this? Geostationary satellites. Geostationary satellites. What is the time period of geostationary satellite? Is 24 hours. So 2 pi by T. If there are two geostationary satellites, their both time period will be same. So their both angular velocity will be same. So relative angular velocity of one satellite with respect to another satellite will be zero. So if their angular distance, they will keep their angular distance will never change. They will maintain their positions nonetheless. सो उनका पोजीशन क्या होता है जो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट का, विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अर्थ भी कांस्टेंट होता है, और विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अनदर जो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट भी सेम होता है. सही रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी में हमने देखा था. हाँ, अगर पार्टिकल कार ए इज गोइंग, पार्टिकल इफ विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू रेस्ट एक कार जा रही है 100 मीटर पर सेकंड से, और विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू रेस्ट अनदर कार जा रही है सेम डायरेक्शन में 100 मीटर पर सेकंड से, दो रिलेशन तो उनके बीच का जो डिफरेंस बिटवीन पोजीशन होगा या उनके बीच का डिस्टेंस होगा वो हमेशा कांस्टेंट रहेगा, वो चेंज नहीं होगा. सिमिलरली angular velocity of geostationary satellite with respect to earth is zero. with respect to earth is 0, because अगर इंडिया के ऊपर है जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट तो वो इंडिया के ऊपर ही रहेगा, एंड जियो स्टेशन रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी ऑफ जियो स्टेशनरी satellite which is up on USA with respect to earth is also 0. So if both angular velocity with respect to one object is 0, then their relative velocity will be also 0. So geostationary satellite above India and geostationary satellite above USA, their positions with respect to relative to each other will never change, because position of India and position of USA with respect to each other is also not changing. It's also not changing. So let's go to the next numerical. Numerical 5. A racing car completes 5 rounds of a circle in 2 minutes. Find the radius of circle if car is moving with uniform acceleration of pi square meter per second. गिवन क्या है? कार इज कंप्लीटिंग 5 revolutions in 2 minutes. That is nothing but 2 into 60 seconds. So what is time period? Number of revolutions upon total time upon number of revolutions. I was writing RPS frequencies formula. T will be total time upon total revolutions. That means we are finding if 5 revolutions take 120 seconds, how much time one revolution will take? That is nothing but T, capital T. So 2 into 60 upon 5, which will be equal to 24 seconds. 24 seconds. The time period of this circle is, time period of the circular motion is 24 seconds. So the question is asking to find the radius of circle, and I have been also given the ACP, constant uniform centripetal acceleration of pi square meter per second square. So if I have a time period, I can find omega, which is 2 pi by t, which will be equal to 2 pi upon 24 equal to pi by 12 radian per second. So what is relation between ACP and omega? ACP is equal to R omega square. R omega square. So let's put the values. Pi square equal to R into pi by 12 by square. So pi square will get cancelled, and square of 12 is 144. It will go to the other side, and my radius will be 144 meter. This was very easy examples. I only gave these examples for this part. if in example number of revolutions and total amount of time to complete those revolution is given, then how to find time period or rps frequency, and from that how to find angular velocity. Because examiner is not going to feed you, spoon feed you the information. Example 6. What is example 6? A 1 kg mass tied at the end of the string 0.5 meter long is whirled in horizontal circle with the other end fixed. The breaking tension in the string is 50 Newton. Find the greatest speed that can be given to the mass. Also find the maximum number of revolution the mass can make before breaking. The mass can make before breaking. So क्या दिया है? What is given? एक मास है 1 kg का, वो 0.5 मीटर लॉन्ग स्ट्रिंग को कनेक्ट किया है एंड क्या किया है? यही किया है हम जो करते आ रहे हैं, उसको हॉरिजॉन्टल मोशन दिया है, हॉरिजॉन्टल मोशन दिया है। और क्या, और क्या इंफॉर्मेशन दी है कि ब्रेकिंग टेंशन ऑफ द स्ट्रिंग इज 50 न्यूटन। दैट मींस देयर इज अ मैक्सिमम लिमिट फॉर टेंशन ऑफ द स्ट्रिंग। उसके 50 न्यूटन के ऊपर गया तो क्या होगा? स्ट्रिंग ब्रेक हो जाएगा, स्ट्रिंग ब्रेक हो जाएगा। तो उन्होंने पूछा है कि कितने स्पीड से आप अगर घुमाओगे, कितने ज्यादा से ज्यादा कितने स्पीड से आप ऑब्जेक्ट को घुमा सकते हैं कि अगर उस स्पीड के आगे चला गया स्पीड तो स्ट्रिंग ब्रेक हो जाएगा। क्यों ब्रेक होगा स्ट्रिंग? क्यों ब्रेक होगा स्ट्रिंग? क्योंकि अगर आपने प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स यूज किया तो सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स स्ट्रिंग को सेंटर जहां फिक्स है उसको अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में खींच रहा है। एंड अगर स्पीड ज्यादा हो गया और वो स्पीड के कारण जनरेट हुआ सेंट्रीपेटल फोर्स 50 न्यूटन के आगे चला गया तो क्या होगा? फोर्स बैलेंस में सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स विल बी हायर देन टेंशन, सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स विल बी हायर देन टेंशन and then the string will break, string will break। और ये हॉरिजॉन्टल सर्कुलर मोशन में है, हॉरिजॉन्टल सर्कुलर मोशन में है तो यहाँ देयर इज नो इफेक्ट ऑफ वेट। वो तो सिर्फ क्या है? वर्टिकल सर्कुलर मोशन में आएगा जी। तो यहाँ एम जी का कोई कंपोनेंट का कुछ सवाल ही नहीं आएगा। यहाँ पूरा सेंट्रीपेटल और सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स इज क्रिएटेड बाय टेंशन इन द स्प्रिंग। सो ब्रेकिंग फोर्स और ब्रेकिंग टेंशन will be equal to maximum centripetal force generated by the tension. So what is maximum FCP will be m v max square upon r। तो v max, तो v max का क्या, तो अब ये क्या है? T max है। तो if I put values of T max which is 50 Newton m 1 kg, I have to find v max, और r कितना दिया है 0.5 मीटर. देन विथ दिस I can find v max which will be equal to 5 meter 5 meter per second. 5 मीटर पर सेकंड. तो 5 मीटर पर सेकंड के दिस इज मैक्सिमम लिमिट. अगर 5 मीटर पर सेकंड पे गया तो सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स 50 न्यूटन हो जाएगा, और 50 न्यूटन हो गया तो टेंशन स्ट्रिंग का टेंशन भी 50 न्यूटन हो जाएगा, और वो क्या है ब्रेकिंग टेंशन है, मतलब उसकी वजह से स्ट्रिंग ब्रेक हो जाएगा. So what is the second part of the question? Find the maximum number of revolution the mass can make before braking. The mass can make before braking. मतलब हमने 5 मीटर पर सेकंड से घुमाना चालू कर दिया, 5 मीटर पर सेकंड से घुमाना चालू कर दिया, बट एक बार चालू करने के बाद कितने रिवॉल्यूशन के बाद वो ब्रेक हो जाएगा. तो टी मैक्स विल बी एफसीपी. अनदर फॉर्मूला फॉर एफसीपी इज एम आर ओमेगा स्क्वायर मैक्स. I can put mr 2 pi n max square here, and this is nothing but 50 newtons. And if I put m is equal to 1 and r is equal to 0.5, I will get n max, which is 1.59 RPS. So actually question was, there is a misprint in question. Find the maximum number of revolution per second the mass can make before braking. You can also use the relation between V and omega. V is equal to R omega. So V max will be is equal to R omega max. You can put omega max is equal to 2 pi n max, and from that you will get maximum RPS speed of string or of the particle. Now let's take the next example. A coin is placed on a horizontal on a revolving disc with its center at a distance of 6 meter from the axis of rotation. A coin placed on a revolving disc with its center at a distance of 6 meters from the axis of rotation slips off when speed of revolving disc exceeds 45 meters per second. What should be the maximum RPM? What should be the maximum RPM speed of disc so that the coin at a distance of 12 meters from axis of rotation does not slip? क्या दिया है? एक रोटेटिंग डिस्क है, एक रोटेटिंग डिस्क है, उसका सेंटर सी है, और एक कॉइन जिसको हम कहेंगे कॉइन नंबर 1, वो कितने डिस्टेंस पे है सेंटर से? 6 मीटर डिस्टेंस पे है, एंड दिस कॉइन स्लिप्स ऑफ, मतलब बाहर स्लिप होता है कब? जब फॉर कॉइन 1 nmax is equal to nmax is equal to n1 is equal to 45 rpm. तो अगर ये डिस्क रोटेटिंग मोशन में है तो ये कॉइन क्या फॉलो करेगा? सर्कुलर मोशन फॉलो करेगा. अगर वहां जहां सर्कुलर मोशन है तो वहां क्या होगा? सेंट्रीपेटल फोर्स होगा, सेंट्रीपेटल फोर्स होगा. और with respect to the coin there will be a centrifugal force, there will be a centrifugal force. और ये सेंट्रीपेटल फोर्स है वो कहां से क्रिएट हो रहा है? कहां से क्रिएट हो रहा है? देखो, ये कॉइन का एंगुलर स्पीड, कॉइन का एंगुलर स्पीड डिस्क कितने रहेगा जब उनका रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी 0 होगा? मतलब देयर वोंट बी चेंज इन पोजीशन, change in position of coin relative to center of the or axis of rotation of the disc. और अगर वो घूम रहा है तो कौन सा फोर्स है जो उसको एक ही जगह पे, जो उसको हिलने नहीं दे रहा या उसको वो सरफेस से चिपका के रखा है? वो फोर्स है फ्रिक्शन फोर्स, वो फोर्स है फ्रिक्शन फोर्स. मतलब फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन coin and disc is acting as necessary centripetal force, necessary centripetal force. अगर ये फ्रिक्शन, अगर हमने आरपीएम बढ़ा दिया, अगर हमने आरपीएम बढ़ा दिया, देखो कॉइन सेम है, डिस्क सेम है, उनका मटेरियल सेम है, उनका अगर कॉइन का सरफेस एरिया जितना होगा उतना ही डिस्क का सरफेस एरिया कवर हो रहा है. मतलब वी कैन नॉट कंट्रोल दिस एफसीपी, फ्रिक्शन फोर्स फॉर कॉइन 1 and coin 2 will be same, because it does not depend on the location, it only depends on surface area, material of surfaces, roughness of surfaces. And we are considering coin 1 and coin 2 are the same, exactly same, and disk is the same, so frictional force will be same for both, and this frictional force is providing necessary centripetal force. If you increase rpm, if you increase rpm, this friction will not be enough to hold the coin. It will not be enough to hold the coin, and it will just slip up. See, अगर आपका फ्रिक्शन फोर्स सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स का काम कर रहा है, एंड ये आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते, एंड ये क्या है, एम आर ओमेगा स्क्वेयर, विच इज नथिंग बट एम आर 2 पाई एन स्क्वेयर, तो ये क्या होगा, 4 पाई स्क्वेयर एम आर एन स्क्वेयर। तो इसमें ये तीनों कांस्टेंट है। तो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स विल डिपेंड ऑन रेडियस एंड एन स्क्वेयर फॉर सर्कुलर मोशन। तो आपको अगर पार्टिकल का सर्कुलर मोशन मेंटेन करना है, एंड आपने अगर एन बढ़ा दिया एंड फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स तो कांस्टेंट ही रहेगा, तो हमको आर अकॉर्डिंगली चेंज करना पड़ेगा, तभी वो सर्कुलर मोशन में रहेगा। और अगर एफ सेम रह रहा है और एन चेंज हो रहा है, तो आर में चेंजेस होगा, मतलब क्या, ये स्लिप ऑफ होगा, मतलब ये इसके पोजीशन से हट जाएगा। हटने के बाद वो सर्कुलर मोशन में रह रहा है कि पता नहीं, बट टू काउंटर द इफेक्ट ऑफ increased RPM, RPM or RPS speed, it will have to change the coin will have to change the position. So in another way, दूसरा कॉइन इधर है, उसका डिस्टेंस है 12 मीटर, तो फ्रिक्शन फोर्स दोनों के लिए सेम है, F1 F1 equal to Ff2 equal to Ff. So I can write m r1 omega 1 square equal to m r2 omega 2 square, and if I put omega is equal to 2 pi n, I will get relation of n2 upon n1 is equal to square root of r1 upon r2. Similarly here, if frictional force is provided by friction force is providing centripetal force, and this is formula, and along with this friction force is not going to change because coins are same and disk is same, so Rn square will be constant. So R is inversely proportional to n square, or n is inversely proportional to square root of R. Similarly, same as this one. That means if you are changing the revolutions per minute, the radius is going to change. That means the position of coin is going to change. That is nothing but slipping off. So for slip off condition of R1 at for 6 meter, if I put 45 RPMs here and for 12 meters I can find n2 max, which will be 45 by root 2 rpm. See, I did not convert my rpm to rps because this is ratio, and if you take a ratio and the ratios of quantities have same units, then even if it is rps and rpm, it will not, the answer won't change, and that's why I saved my time and did not change rpm to rps. Now let's take example number 8. Somehow an ant is stuck to the rim of a bicycle wheel of diameter 1 meter. While the bicycle is on a central stand, the wheel is set into rotation and it attains the frequency of 2 rps in 10 seconds. And this is in the, this is, and here acceleration, angular acceleration is uniform. Calculate number of revolutions completed by the ant in 10 seconds, time taken by it for first complete revolution and the last complete revolution. So क्या दिया है, एक एंट है, लेट्स सिंप्लीफाई दिस, एक एंट है मतलब एक पार्टिकल है जो एक साइकिल के रिम पे है, मतलब सरकमफ्रेंस पे है, और उसका बाइसिकल का डायमीटर 1 मीटर है, मतलब उसका रेडियस क्या है, 0.5 मीटर है, एंड दिस पार्टिकल इज पुट इन motion with uniform angular acceleration. उसको एट t इक्वल टू 0 सेकंड से स्टार्ट किया, जहां उसका ओमेगा 0 एंड n 0 था, वहां से 10 सेकंड में वहां से 10 सेकंड में उसने कितना आरपीएस स्पीड अटेन किया, 2 सेकंड का 2 आरपीएस का आरपीएस स्पीड अटेन किया. तो पूछा है कि हाउ मेनी रिवॉल्यूशंस हैव द एंट और पार्टिकल हैज कंप्लीटेड इन दिस 10 सेकंड्स, फर्स्ट पार्ट. So if n is 2 rps, what will be my omega? 2 pi n, which will be equal to 4 pi radian per second. And if my n is so, for to find number of revolutions, we will have to find how much angular displacement has the ant or particle has covered in 10 seconds, and if we divide this total angular displacement by angular displacement in one revolution, that means 2 pi, we will get total number of revolutions. So as this is uniform angular acceleration motion, we can use those three equations. So let's first use this omega equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. Let's find this uniform angular acceleration. So alpha will be omega minus omega 0 upon t. This is 4 pi minus 0 upon 10. So my alpha will be 2 pi by 5 radian meter per second square. So now I know alpha, I know omega 0, so I can use second equation to find angular displacement with S is equal to ut plus half at square. So theta will be equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square. So this will be 0 because omega 0 is 0. Half of 2 pi by 5 into 10 square, which will be equal to 20 pi रेडियंस. देखो मैंने पाई का अभी तक मल्टीप्लीकेशन नहीं किया है क्योंकि यार सर्कुलर मोशन है. एंड अगर ये क्वेश्चंस अगर एज एमसीक्यू आया तो कहीं ना कहीं तो चांसेस रहेंगे कि पाई कैंसल आउट हो जाएगा. तो ट्राई करिए कि एंड तक पाई वैसे की वैसे ही रहने दीजिए. अगर एंड में ऐसा कुछ पोजीशन आ गया, ऐसा आंसर आ गया कि आपका पाई कैंसल आउट नहीं हुआ एंड ऑप्शंस में तो पाई के फॉर्म में आंसर नहीं है तो मल्टीप्लाई कर लीजिए. बट ज्यादा चांस ऐसा रहेगा कि पाई कैंसल आउट होगा, पाई कैंसल आउट होगा. तो अब मुझे टोटल एंगुलर डिस्प्लेसमेंट पता चल गई है. तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशंस will be total angular displacement upon angular displacement in one revolution, which is 2 pi. So 20 pi upon 2 pi. See, pi got cancelled and we have answer of 10 revolutions. See, that's why I did not multiply 2 by 5 into pi. It would have took me so much time and then मुझे ये भी करना पड़ता और फिर कैलकुलेशन डिफिकल्ट हो जाते. तो स्मार्ट स्टूडेंट क्या करेगा कि टाइम बचाने के ऐसे अलग अलग मेथड ढूंढेगा. अब मैं हूं इसलिए ये बता रहा हूं. अगर आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस करेंगे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की, क्योंकि हमारे पास एक टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट है, तो हम कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट और ज्यादा वेरिएंट्स वाले ही न्यूमेरिकल लेंगे, ऐसे कंसेप्चुअल न्यूमेरिकल्स लेंगे कि एक न्यूमेरिकल के सॉल्व करने के बाद आप 10 ऐसे टाइप के और 10 सिमिलर विथ स्लाइट वेरिएशन के एग्जाम्पल सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। तो ऐसे आप अपना जितना प्रैक्टिस बढ़ाएंगे उतना आपको ही पता चलेगा कि फॉर टाइम सेविंग के लिए क्या क्या टेक्निक्स है अलग अलग एग्जाम्पल्स में। बट उसके लिए आपको खुद का प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, खुद का प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, ज्यादा से ज्यादा न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करने पड़ेंगे। And what is the second part of the problem? Time taken by the ant or particle to complete its first revolution and last revolution. First revolution and last revolution. तो हमें ओमेगा 0 पता है, अल्फा 0 पता है। एट टी इज इक्वल टू 0 पे स्टार्ट करने के बाद एक रिवोल्यूशन में, मतलब थीटा इक्वल टू 2 पाई के बाद, थीटा इक्वल टू 2 पाई के बाद कितना टाइम हुआ होगा वो कैलकुलेट करना है। एंड लास्ट में क्या कैलकुलेट करना है, फॉर लास्ट रिवोल्यूशन में कितना टाइम होगा, अनटिल लास्ट नहीं, आखिरी रिवोल्यूशन में कितना टाइम होगा। तो वहां क्या करेंगे हम, अगर मैंने आपको बताया कि मैं 100 मीटर गया 10 सेकंड में और उसमें से पहले 90 मीटर में 8 सेकंड में गया, तो फाइनल 10 मीटर कितने सेकंड में जाऊंगा, तो आप क्या करेंगे 10 माइनस 8 करेंगे और आपको 2 सेकंड मिलेंगे। वैसे ही मुझे लास्ट रिवोल्यूशन का पता करना है, तो लास्ट रिवोल्यूशन को 10th रिवोल्यूशन है, तो मैं अगर 9th रिवोल्यूशन तक का टाइम फाइंड करूंगा और टाइम फॉर 10 रिवोल्यूशन माइनस टाइम फॉर 9 रिवोल्यूशन करूंगा, तो मुझे टाइम फॉर द लास्ट रिवोल्यूशन मिलेगा। चलो देखते हैं। So for first revolution, my theta will be 2 pi. My theta will be 2 pi. So I can use this theta is equal to omega 0 plus half of alpha omega 0 t into alpha t square in r k. So here theta is 2 pi. This will be 0, half into value of my alpha is 2 pi by 5 into t square. Even here pi and pi are getting cancelled. And my t, let's see, this is t1. T1 is root 10 seconds. Root 10 seconds. So this will be the time for ant to cover first revolution. For a last revolution, T2, I will have to calculate time for 10 revolutions and then minus time for 9 revolutions. Then and then only I will get time for last revolution. So for T9 same. How much will be the Angular displacement for 9 revolution. For 9 revolutions, T9 will be 2 pi into 9. For 10 revolutions, we know that it is 10 seconds. It is 10 seconds. We already know that. 10 seconds. Because we have calculated for 10 seconds, it took 10 revolution and vice versa for 10 revolutions, it took 10 seconds. So for last revolution, T2 will be, or let's say this T last. So you won't get confused with second revolution. 10 minus 10 minus this is actually so sorry, this is theta 9, and for from this we will have to first calculate T9. So 2 pi into 9 will be equal to half of 2 pi by 5 into T9 square, and from this I will get T9 equal to 3 root 10, and this will be equal to 9.48 seconds. So T last will be 10 minus 9.48, which will be equal to 0.52 second. So this will be the time for ant to complete or particle to complete last revolution or 10th revolution. So if I ask you to calculate time taken for ant to complete seventh revolution, what will you do? You will calculate time for 7 revolution, and then for 6 revolutions, and then will you find the difference by T7 by T7 minus T6, and you will get time for 7th revolution. A 7th revolution. If I ask you to find time taken by the ant to complete 7 revolutions, then you will only put 2 pi into 7, and the T will get you the total time from t is equal to 0 second to t equal to 2 7. But if I ask you 7th revolution, 7वां revolution और 7 revolution होने तक का टाइम, इसमें डिफरेंस है ये समझिए। क्वेश्चन ठीक से पढ़ना, इसलिए अभी यहां लास्ट दिया है इसलिए थोड़ा तो क्लियर है, बट अगर बीच में का कोई नंबर दिया तो आप कंफ्यूज हो सकते हैं। तो समझिए, एंटी फॉर 7 रिवॉल्यूशंस का टाइम पूछा है या फॉर 7th रिवॉल्यूशन का टाइम पूछा है। फॉर 7 रिवॉल्यूशन का टाइम पूछा है तो सिर्फ 2 पाई इंटू 7 करने का और ये फॉर्मूले के डालने के बाद आपको टाइम मिलेगा। 7th रिवॉल्यूशन का टाइम पूछा है तो आपको 7 रिवॉल्यूशन के लिए टाइम निकलना पड़ेगा 2 पाई इंटू 7 करके, और 6 रिवॉल्यूशन के लिए जितना टाइम होगा उतना निकालना पड़ेगा बाय 2 पाई इंटू 6 करके, और फिर आपको T7 मतलब टाइम फॉर 7 रिवॉल्यूशंस एंड T6 मतलब टाइम फॉर 6 रिवॉल्यूशंस मिलेगा, और आप उसका डिफरेंस लेंगे तो आपको मिलेगा टाइम फॉर 7th रिवॉल्यूशन। सो ये समझिए, मैं वापस बता रहा हूं कि क्वेश्चन ठीक से पढ़िए। क्वेश्चन में फॉर 7 रिवॉल्यूशन टाइम फॉर 7 रिवॉल्यूशंस दिया है या टाइम फॉर 7th रिवॉल्यूशन दिया है। क्वेश्चन पढ़ना इंपॉर्टेंट है। Let's pause for a little bit. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And example, coefficient of static friction between a coin and a gramophone disc is 0.5. Radius of disc is 8 centimeter. Initially, the center of coin is 2 centimeter away from center of the disc. At what minimum frequency will it start slipping from there? And by what factor will frequency change if the coin is almost at the rim? देखिए, अपना जो पहला एग्जांपल था कौन सा, सेवंथ एग्जांपल सिमिलर एग्जांपल है। क्या दिया है? म्यू एस दिया है 0.5, रेडियस ऑफ डिस्क दिया है 0.08 मीटर, 8 सेंटीमीटर था, और डिस्टेंस ऑफ कॉइन, अगर ये डिस्क है और ये उसका रेडियस कैपिटल आर है, तो कॉइन कहाँ रखा है? एट द डिस्टेंस ऑफ 2 सेंटीमीटर, मतलब आर इज इक्वल टू 0.02 मीटर। अगर ये कॉइन का आपको फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम निकालना है, तो अगर ये कॉइन है तो उसका mg डायरेक्टली डाउनवर्ड होगा, n ऐसा होगा, this will be the frictional force and this will be the centrifugal force, which is m r1 omega 1 square। मैंने पहले ही बताया था कि सेवंथ एग्जांपल में कि दिस ए टाइप के एग्जांपल्स में फ्रिक्शन फोर्स क्या काम कर रहा है? फ्रिक्शन फोर्स क्या काम कर रहा है? सेंट्रीपेटल फोर्स का काम कर रहा है, तभी वो उसको अटैच रहेगा, तभी कॉइन डिस्क को अटैच रहेगा एंड सर्कुलर मोशन फॉलो कर पाएगा। अगर फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स निकाल दिया तो रिलेटिव पोजीशन ऑफ कॉइन एंड डिस्क विल चेंज। उस पे वो चिपक नहीं पाएगा व्हाइल रिवॉल्विंग, तो वो सर्कल कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाएगा, तो सर्कुलर मोशन ही नहीं कंप्लीट कर पाएगा। तो हमें एक नेसेसरी फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स चाहिए जो कि कॉइन को वो रेडियस पे सर्कुलर मोशन कंप्लीट करने में हेल्प करे। और ये फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स है, वो क्या है? म्यू एस इंटू नॉर्मल रिएक्शन है, और एन क्या है? एम जी है। म्यू एस फॉर कॉइन एंड डिस्क इज कांस्टेंट, mass of disk is going to be stay constant, g will stay constant. That means this friction force will not change. This friction force will not change whatever may be the position of coin on the disk. Just this, to prevent slipping, this frictional force should be greater than or equal to required centripetal force at location R. So R लोकेशन पे जितना सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स नेसेसरी है, जितना फोर्स नेसेसरी है उसके से ज्यादा या एटलीस्ट उसके वैल्यू का फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स हमें चाहिए। तो यहां हमने अगर म्यू एस एम जी डाला और यहां यम ओमेगा 1 स्क्वायर R1 डाला, लेट्स आर कैपिटल आर लिया है तो R1 को R ही ले सकते हैं हम। तो हमें क्या पूछा है, व्हाट शुड बी द वैल्यू ऑफ n, मिनिमम वैल्यू ऑफ n। तो यहां जो हमको वैल्यू मिलेगी वो मिनिमम वैल्यू ऑफ n होगी, उससे ज्यादा अगर n की वैल्यू चली गई तो क्या होगा, अब कॉइन अपना पोजीशन छोड़ देगा, मतलब स्लिप ऑफ करेगा। तो अगर म्यू एस एम एम विल गेट कैंसल, म्यू जी विल बी इक्वल टू और ग्रेटर देन 2 पाई n1 रेज टू स्क्वायर इंटू r, और यहां से हमें n स्क्वायर म्यू जी अपॉन 4 पाई स्क्वायर r शुड बी ग्रेटर देन और लेस देन n स्क्वायर। सो हमें n की मिनिमम वैल्यू मिल गई, उसका लोअर लिमिट मिल गया कि म्यू जी अपॉन 4 पाई स्क्वायर r। तो ये वैल्यू है n का, मतलब फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन का। इसके आगे अगर आपका वैल्यू चला गया तो कॉइन स्लिप अप हो जाएगा, मतलब उसका पोजीशन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू सेंटर ऑफ द डिस्क चेंज हो जाएगा। तो अगर आपने सारे वैल्यूज पुट किए, जी म्यू इज इक्वल टू 0.5 पुट किया, स्मॉल r इज इक्वल टू 0.02 पुट किया, तो आपको n मिलेगा, n1 मिलेगा 2.5 RPS। तो 2.5 RPS के आगे अगर चला गया फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन तो कॉइन स्लिप ऑफ करेगा ही करेगा। पार्ट 2 क्या है क्वेश्चन का, बाय व्हाट फैक्टर विल द फ्रीक्वेंसी चेंज इफ द कॉइन इज ऑलमोस्ट एट द रिम। गिवन में जी दिया है, पाई स्क्वायर यूज करने को बोला है, ये दिया है प्रॉब्लम में। तो जस्ट लाइक 7 प्रॉब्लम, हमें दो अलग अलग पोजीशंस का लिमिटिंग वैल्यू ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी पूछा है, तो वहां हमने क्या निकाला था, n is inversely proportional to r, n is inversely proportional, n square is inversely proportional to r और n is inversely proportional to root r। वहां से हमें क्या मिलेगा, n2 अपॉन n1 इज इक्वल टू स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ r अपॉन कैपिटल R, क्योंकि रिम पे कैलकुलेट करना है हमें। और यहां मैंने स्मॉल एंड कैपिटल R का वैल्यू डाला और स्क्वायर रूट लिया, तो मुझे मिलता है 0.5। बाय फैक्टर से पूछा है, फाइनल वैल्यू नहीं पूछी, तो इसलिए n2 विल बी इक्वल टू 0.5 ऑफ n1, दैट इज n1 बाय 2। तो हाफ फैक्टर से क्या होगा, रिम के एज का लिमिटिंग वैल्यू ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी होगा, जिसके आगे अगर फ्रीक्वेंसी गया तो आपका स्लिपिंग ऑफ द कॉइन चालू हो जाएगा। आगे का एग्जांपल सिर्फ हम डिस्कस करेंगे, बिकॉज वेरी सिमिलर है, इट इज वेरी सिमिलर। क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 पढ़िए। क्या दिया है, डिस्क दिया है, डिस्क का आरपीएम स्पीड दिया है और रेडियस दिया है, और दो कॉइन दिए हैं, एक कॉइन एट रेडियस ऑफ 4 सेंटीमीटर पे है और एक कॉइन एट रेडियस ऑफ 14 सेंटीमीटर पे है, और उन्होंने कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन कॉइन एंड डिस्क दिया है 0.15 और पूछा है कौन सा कॉइन रिकॉर्ड के साथ घूमेगा और कौन सा कॉइन स्लिप होगा। तो फॉर स्लिपिंग वी नो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स शुड बी ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू mr omega square, which is mu mg will be equal to mr omega square, m will get cancelled, mu g should be greater than r omega square और mu g upon omega square should be greater than r। आपको म्यू पता है 0.15 दिया है, जी पता है, जी पता है कितना दिया है, नहीं दिया है तो 9.81 लेना पड़ेगा। ओमेगा स्क्वायर नहीं दिया लेकिन आरपीएम स्पीड दिया है, आरपीएम स्पीड को आरपीएस स्पीड में कन्वर्ट कीजिए एंड देन दिस विल बी एन, तो 2 पाई एन कैलकुलेट कीजिए, जो ओमेगा स्क्वायर ओमेगा होगा वो यहां पुट कीजिए, तो आपको कुछ तो वैल्यू मिलेगी, आपको कुछ तो वैल्यू मिलेगी आर की। आर अगर लेस देन और इक्वल टू 0.12 मीटर होगा तो स्लिप नहीं होगा, ये कंडीशन है for prevent sleeping, अगर R ये लिमिट से कम होगा तो कॉइन स्लिप नहीं होगा। R इस ये अपना, और अगर R 0.1 से ज्यादा होगा तो स्लिप होगा। तो एक कॉइन 4 सेंटीमीटर पे है, मतलब 0.04 मीटर पे है, वो R इस 0.12 से कम है तो वो स्लिप नहीं होगा। और एक R जो सेकंड R जो 14 सेंटीमीटर है, विच इज 50 14 सेंटीमीटर पे है, वो 0.14 मीटर, विच इज ग्रेटर देन 0.2 मीटर, दैट मीन्स इट विल स्लिप, वो स्लिप होगा। तो फॉर प्रिवेंट स्लिपिंग ये कंडीशन याद रखिए। तो आपको कॉइन ऑन ग्रामाफोन और रिवॉल्विंग डिस्क के कोई भी एग्जांपल आ गया तो इसके ये कंडीशन याद रखेंगे तो कोई भी एग्जांपल आपको बहुत इजी जाएगा। When I was in 12th standard, 11th and 12th standard, and I was giving MST CET, coin on revolving disc was one of the most favorite question of examiner in HSC exam and in CET exam and in GE exam. ये बहुत फेवरेट क्वेश्चन रहते थे। We are just solving it as a numericals। हमें तो 12th के फिजिक्स 1 के पहले चैप्टर में सर्कुलर मोशन का अलग चैप्टर था, अब तुम्हें वो नहीं है, और उसमें दिस was taught as a example of circular motion like conical pendulum। सो अगर वो जमाने वाला एग्जामिनर आ गया और वो बोला मुझे ये टॉपिक ने बहुत तंग किया है, तो अब इस बार भी मैं स्टूडेंट्स को ये टॉपिक से तंग करूंगा, और अगर इस टाइप का कोई भी एग्जाम्पल आया और आपने सिर्फ ये कंडीशन याद रखी तो आपको कोई डर नहीं, तुम्हाला मरण नाही, काहीच घाबरायचं नाही। So this was our first numerical session on circular motion. We will have at least 2 more sessions on circular motion. There we will see more difficult examples and some MCQs and some PYQs. So let's stop today. We will meet in next lecture. It will be we will start either next topic or we will have numerical session, second numerical session on circular motion. Let's stop today. Have a nice and productive day. Goodbye.